Good evening. This is CTV News for Friday, July 20th. I'm Byron Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, a Capitol Heights man who prosecutors say used his position of authority to abuse children was sentenced today. Christopher Spites will spend the next 30 years behind bars. Denise Douglas has more from the courthouse.
The judge had very harsh words for Christopher Spites as she slapped him with a 30-year sentence. She said that he abused the trust of the community and exploited his young victims. Spites is a former substitute teacher at Bradbury Heights Elementary School and a basketball coach. He coached boys 12 and under. In terms of what he did, he took pictures, explicit pictures of children in his care, sometimes during overnight trips and in other situations. Acting on a tip, officials moved in on him and found hundreds of pictures of children having sex with each other and with adults on his Dropbox. Again, he's been sentenced to 30 years behind bars. Here is reaction from outside of the courthouse. We are so satisfied that he has been removed from our community for a significant amount of time. There should be no space for any individual who hurts a child, and who especially hurts a child in the manner that Mr. Spites did, making himself available not only to vulnerable children, but he was so sinister that he also conducted a scheme that would allow him to gain access to children who were growing up in single-parent homes, to position himself as a person who could be helpful to single moms. Let your child come over and spend the night at our home. And so his scheme was a sinister one.
And the 150 some odd files that were on his cell phone, his computer, have unfortunately found their way across the world. These are crimes that live on even after the perpetrator has been put in prison. And so his bad deeds, his bad acts, the harm that he has perpetrated continues.
Earlier this week, he was sentenced to 35 years behind bars in federal court. Today's sentencing will run concurrently to that. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
Prosecutors say they are still identifying victims. They have contacted 50, but believe hundreds more are out there. Therefore, they are encouraging anyone who may have been victimized by Spites to call this hotline number, 1-800-637-5437. And in Arundel County, prosecutors filing a 23-count indictment in the deadly shooting at the Capital Gazette in Annapolis. 38-year-old Gerard Ramos is charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder in the mass shooting that took place. It took the lives of 5 Gazette employees. Fatally shot was assistant editor Rob Hassan, correspondent Wendy Winters, editorial page editor Gerald Fishman, sports writer John McNamara, and sales assistant Rebecca Smith. Meantime, officials from the teachers union speak out on the recent cuts in the Prince George's school system. As we told you yesterday, acting CEO Monica Golson eliminated 2 deputy superintendent positions. Golson's plan is to restructure the central office in hopes of eliminating $1 million in position. The teachers union supports Golson's decision.
Well, I think it's a good first start for her to come in and assess what's needed and what's not needed, and to establish her parameters in which she wants to operate. We support someone who can keep the school system running right now, and I believe she can keep the school system running, and she's demonstrated by making these changes that she understands what some of the outcry is about. And the reality is that come September, those kids are coming back, and we need somebody who can lay the groundwork on a lot of what we need and also make sure that our schools are running.
No word yet on how many jobs will be cut. Well, it's been 2 months since Ellicott City was hit with deadly flash flooding. It was the second time in as many years. Tonight, the city's downtown area takes another step to getting back to normal. Ever since Ellicott City was hit with devastating floods 2 months ago, traffic along Main Street has been restricted to just contractors and construction vehicles. But that all changes tonight at 5 o'clock when the street reopens to everyone else.
It's a wonderful step forward. I think that's what all the merchants and all the people who live in Catonsville and Ellicott City have been waiting for. It's been a huge inconvenience for people who normally go through Ellicott City. And I think it's the first major step toward a recovery is restoring traffic through the town so that people can get down here.
We are happy to see that. We are looking forward to seeing more people come to visit. Perhaps we can turn this negative into a positive, to look forward for people, tourists, to come to see how a town is rebuilding itself.
Some stores did not return, but you decided to stay here. Why is that?
I'm also a property owner, so I have to make sure that the bank gets their mortgage paid.
I'm happy for the businesses that are open. I think it's going to be great for them. I think they've needed the traffic to come through. For us, I know we're going to be another 3 to 4 weeks before we're complete. Our real work starts now in reconstruction this week and the week coming up. The only concerns I have, of course, will be for safety concerns. So I would add caution for people driving down through Main Street to take their time and be very careful while they're driving through. But we look forward to opening and looking forward to open up Ellicott City.
I've been here 10 years. It was a very hard decision, and I just made the decision last week to stay. I was up in the air if I was actually going to come back. I had opened my doors, but I wasn't sure if I was going to renew my lease. It's coming up shortly, and I was thinking about moving on. And it was a very hard decision to do.
But you're staying.
I am staying.
We've been through 1 flood, 2 flood, or I should say a fire, then 2 more floods. So we've rebuilt every time, and we've rebuilt again, and we look forward to it.
Ellicott City is in Howard County. County Executive Alan Kittleman is criticizing gubernatorial candidate Ben Jealous for mentioning the Ellicott City floods in a fundraising email. According to the Baltimore Sun, Jealous mentioned the flooding and then questioned whether lawmakers on Capitol Hill are addressing what he called an environmental crisis. Well, a Prince George's County captain is on the wrong side of the law again. 52-year-old Thomas Hart has been charged with assault stemming from a dispute yesterday with someone he knows. The 22-year veteran of the force has been suspended without pay back in April because he is facing a criminal investigation in an unrelated case. This incident is still under investigation. And police are searching for a man who they say shot a woman he met on a social media app. According to officials, the two met up yesterday in Tacoma Park. The shooting happened on the 8300 block of Flower Avenue. The suspect is described as a black male with a medium complexion who has a thin build and is around 5 feet 7 inches tall. He was last seen wearing a white tank top and dark blue shorts. Police say he's armed with a black and silver handgun. And a Laurel man is behind bars after police say he abused a dog last month. 24-year-old Omar Gertman is charged with animal cruelty, second-degree assault, and malicious destruction of property. Howard County officials were called to the 9600 block of Covered Wagon Drive back in June after a woman called 911 to report that a family member stabbed the dog. Gertman's being held without bond at the Howard County Detention Center.